What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of WONT TV. And yes, I have on this big stupid ass jacket. So just leave me alone. Today we're watching 3 school lockdown horror stories animated. Now I did watch a video. I think it was 3 I forgot what it was called. I'm gonna put the card here, but I did watch that. I had to cut it up into 3 parts, I think, because the video was like over 40 minutes or 30 minutes long or something like that, and I didn't want to make a video that long, so I cut it up into 3 parts. Right after the other, I just recorded, and I uploaded them. So that was it. And it's pretty much by the same guy, MJV Animation. So shout out to you. I decided to switch it up a little bit and try to do something outside of Alter. So, you know, we're back with the animated horror stories. So we're going to get straight into this. If you guys enjoyed this video, man, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Sharing it with your friends. It really does help the channel grow. If you guys want to be notified when I upload, man, click that bell. It goes ring-a-ding-ding every single time that I upload, so you won't miss a thing. I promise you that. The link to MJV Animation's channel is down in the description. Also, the link to the original video is down in the description as well, so make sure you go over there and check that out for yourself. Let's get straight into this.
It was a completely normal, boring school day. I was in 7th period math, and the clock showed 2:45 p.m., which means the school day was nearly done. As it was a Friday, and spring break was just around the corner, you could feel everyone getting antsy in their seats. A lot of people had tests and whatnot, whereas my class got to have fun. We had a super laid-back teacher who loved to entertain us as much as possible. We lucked out in that sense. Me and my girlfriend Haley were messing around in the back, talking about something that occurred earlier that day. When it happened, the alarm for the lockdown went off, and the principal came over the loudspeaker. Now, for some context, typically a teacher would yell lockdown 3 times if it was a drill. We were always told if it was 4 times, it was not a drill. The reason for this was to hide the fact that we knew someone was in the building with malicious intent. 4 times we heard the word lockdown. Now, I've gotten so used to hearing it only 3 times that I paid no attention to how many times lockdown was even said. The teacher did the usual, turning off the lights, closing the door, and ushering us to the back corner of the room where we couldn't be seen from the glass on the door. Our classroom had 2 doors, one at the front and one at the back. In the midst of all the commotion, me and Haley did the one thing you should never do in a lockdown. We snuck out of the class. We were now in the hallway.
Why? Man. Yeah.
On the 3rd floor. Everything looked so weird. Not a single person in sight other than the 2 of us. A sort of humming noise came from the walls, indicating the school had cut all the power. I thought this was weird, as I thought it was only a drill.
Hey, why would they cut off the power if it's just a drill?
I asked. This was when we really started to question if it was actually a drill or not. But with us being stupid teenagers, we brushed it off as nothing.
You're not stupid teenagers.
We continued roaming the halls when we started to hear a sound.
Y'all dumbass
I got
teenagers.
really creeped out by this, as no one was supposed to be outside the class. Fearing it was a teacher, we ran into the nearest bathroom to hide. We ran into the 4th stall that was tucked into the corner and hid. We sort of just sat there, giggling, thinking we outsmarted the teacher. Maybe about 30 seconds had passed, and we started to hear the footsteps again, but this time much closer. My heart froze. We could tell it was right outside the door. At this point, we were sure we'd been caught. We kept as quiet and as still as possible, hoping not to make a sound. It was really weird though. The person outside hadn't come in yet, but they hadn't left either. If they left, we would have clearly heard their footsteps leaving, but we never heard them. Haley pointed this out to me, and that's when we started taking the situation a bit more seriously. The door opened.
It was
Someone
an ad.
stepped in. I was about to walk out of the stall and apologize for sneaking off when Haley stopped me. She whispered to me.
Isn't it protocol for teachers to ask if there's anyone in the bathroom?
She was right. This wasn't normal teacher behavior, and that's when the heart-dropping realization hit us. Whoever was in the bathroom with us wasn't a teacher. While contemplating what to do, the silence was broken.
I know you're in there.
I heard
Damn!
the person said. The voice was young.
God damn.
It obviously wasn't a teacher. We were practically crying at this point, unable to hold it back. The guy was now directly in front of the stall door. He started pounding on the door and screaming like a madman.
Yo!
As this was happening, though,
I know they
heard the
fucking
door open again,
scared like a
followed by
bitch
the
right now.
familiar voice of my teacher, Mr. Taylor.
Hey, what the hell are you doing?
I heard a scuffle outside, and I immediately rushed to aid my teacher. Eventually, we got the guy held down and the cops were called. Apparently, the man was an escapee from a mental asylum near the school, and thankfully, no one got hurt.
Hold on, before we continue, you mean to tell me y'all issued a lock? Okay, I understand they issued a lockdown, whatever. Somebody came into school, whatever. But y'all went through all that only for it to not be a real threat. Man, get the fuck out of here.
I don't know if any of you guys remember a few years ago when a sort of killer clown craze shook America for a few months. Well, this all happened during that time.
I remember that.
I always remembered me and my friends thought it was funny, and we'd always watch those clown caught on camera videos that were really popular at lunch. Although, our laughter turned into fear when we were made aware that a few of those clowns on Twitter threatened to come to our school at 11 a.m. that day and quote-unquote kill all of us. Luckily, the school picked up on this, and they sent out emails to the parents that they had scheduled a planned lockdown at 10:30 that day in response to the threats. I was sitting in history class when I heard the familiar sound of the lockdown alarm, followed by the teacher rushing to the windows and door, locking and closing them. Even though initially the threat freaked me out, I wasn't worried at this point. I reasoned that it was most likely just another blank threat online, and that nothing would happen. After about 40 minutes of silence, sitting on the cold floor in the corner of the room, the emergency green flashing light turned off, then followed by the air conditioning slowly falling silent, and then the hallway lights switched off. The school had cut the power, but why though? At this point, me and my classmates were staring at each other. We all knew that something real was going on, as the school never cut off the power unless something serious was happening. After 10 minutes or so, we could all hear a faint banging noise from down the corridor.
Damn, how many got into school, man?
Someone was running down the hallway. They started banging on the lockers and screaming. At this point, a few girls started quietly crying. Just then, the most terrifying thing ever happened.
Niggas, look,
dressed as a
these
clown, ran up to the
niggas,
class.
these niggas just
They
sit.
started banging on
Look,
the lockers and screaming.
These niggas just sit. Look at their face. Look at their face. These niggas just sit there like.
At this point, a few girls started quietly crying. Just then, the most terrifying thing ever happened. One of the men, dressed as a clown, ran up to the class door, banging and screaming. Multiple people were crying now, and one of my friends whispered to me in complete seriousness, saying we were all gonna die. I have no shame in admitting that this caused me to start crying too.
Oh, man.
I then heard the loud sound of glass shattering.
Damn.
The man had shattered the glass part of the door, and I could see his arm reaching through to try to unlock the door from the inside. I was frozen and in complete disbelief as to what I was witnessing. But luckily, my teacher reacted quickly, grabbing a piece of shattered glass from the ground and stabbing the man's arm before he could unlock the door. He instantly grabbed his arm back, and you could hear his screams of pain. He then quickly stepped away from the door, and his screams slowly faded down the corridor. After another 2 hours, the principal came on the loudspeaker, explaining everything. He said that just after 11, 2 men walked into the school, one holding a kitchen knife. They ran around the school, threatening to kill students and trying to break into classrooms. But once the police raided the school, only one of them was caught, and it wasn't the one who tried to break into our classroom. After the whole event, the school got over 20 buses to take the younger kids home, and the kids 9th grade and over, like me, were told to walk home in groups and call the cops if we saw anything suspicious.
Hold on. Wait a second. I'm watching this shit. I'm fully immersed, by the way. I'm fully immersed. That's why I'm not talking. That's why I'm not saying anything. I'm fully immersed. So you mean to tell me, and I understand, the younger kids, the little kids, send them home. 20 fucking buses full of nothing but young kids. You mean to tell me 20 buses are full with nothing but young kids? You mean to tell me you couldn't put those 9th grade and over kids on those buses with those children and send them home all together? Come on, bro. You had the older kids walk home.
I had a hard week at school after that experience. I was always thinking that the men would return, this time with a gun or something, but nothing happened. This, nonetheless, will be scarred into my mind forever. Ever since the lockdown, the school has hired a few more on-campus police officers, and they've installed some auto-locking features on doors and windows. This has made me feel a little bit better in school, but this isn't just an experience you can simply forget about.
That was an ad, by the way.
I live in the middle of nowhere. The school I go to has maybe 500 students in total. It's enough for everyone to know everyone's name. Regardless, this day our school went on lockdown. That familiar, yet eerie chime of our principal's voice saying to remain in our classes until further notice rang through the building over the intercoms. His voice was surprisingly calm, especially considering the fact that he didn't even say it was a drill. Despite our little town, crime isn't completely unheard of. We've had our fair share of reported break-ins, robberies, and even some gang activity.
I bet it's a robber down at Chase Bank.
My friend Kyle joked. I laughed, and we started talking about what we actually thought the whole lockdown was for. Kyle's voice was beginning to get louder, only interrupted by our teacher, Miss Sander herself, shushing him. It had now been about 10 minutes of complete silence, but like most high schoolers tend to, we all lost our patience. Everyone was now talking softly to whoever they were sitting next to at this point. Just then, we all heard it. Footsteps. Not just one pair, but a few walking down the hall. We all went quiet, knowing that something was wrong, and if this was a drill, it would have been just one pair of footsteps, that being the teacher checking on the classrooms. Even Kyle, who had previously been talking, grew silent. Miss Sander moved slowly to the doorway, peering out from behind a corner. The heaviness in the air was suffocating. Just then, we heard footsteps again, seemingly doing another lap around the school. A girl across the room let out a muffled sob of fear. I focused my attention on the door. I was leaning out from behind a table to peer through the window to see if I could see anything. I'm not sure what I expected to see, but whatever I was expecting, a whole lot of nothing was not it. The hallway was empty and completely dark, as it tends to be when no one was in it. The lights were all automated in my school, but just then, I noticed some of them turn on. A wave of yellow light instantly filled the room as we huddled in, casting shadows against the rows of desks. Someone somewhere tried to calm the crying girl, but I could hear their own murmured voice waver. I was still looking through the door's window from a distance at this point. But of course, as I was doing this, I saw someone walk up to the window and start looking through into the room. I instantly ducked back down behind the table the whole class was hiding behind. I felt my heart beat wildly as I heard the sound of the doorknob start to shift. My vision grew static as I pulled my knees to my chest, curling up tightly in the corner of the room. The door shook as the guy banged on it repeatedly, and as he was doing this, my biggest fear came true. The door hinges gave out, and this guy proceeded to walk into the classroom.
Damn.
All of us went silent, praying this man wouldn't walk over to the corner of the room and see all of us hiding behind this table.
The classroom can't be that damn big, man. Look how big the fucking classroom is, bro. Look how big the fucking classroom is, bro. I would have seen your ass just by looking over, like just, you know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. It ain't like you got different sections of the classroom you can hide in. You in the closet or some shit. You inside of like it's open. You can, man.
Past of just this guy standing there. And we could hear someone else sprinting to the door, followed by the words,
Dude, we gotta go. The cops are already here.
That's when I heard the guy start running out of the room and down the hall. The cops came, and a little later that was it. The guys who entered the school were never caught, and apparently they were armed with guns. The story goes that one of the kids at my school tweeted at a gang, essentially making fun of them the night before that school day. And of course, the gang took it very seriously and planned on raiding the school and killing the kid responsible. Luckily, they weren't successful, but this experience still terrifies me nonetheless.
Man, bruh. Hold on. We gonna talk about this. Hold on 1 second. All right, you guys. So that was 3 school lockdown. Damn. You just don't want me to finish this video, huh? Bitch ass nigga. All right, you guys. So that was 3 school lockdown horror stories animated. Now, don't get me wrong. All right. I'm not judging MJV because he didn't do anything wrong. It's the stories. They're all similar. School lockdown. Guy comes in a group of guys or a guy comes into the school, bangs on the doors or whatever. Cops come, they leave, or they get arrested or whatever. Come to find out, it's some random people not targeting the school itself just for the fact of it being the school, but it's like, I mean, nothing really happened. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh man, he's gonna have some scary shit, especially coming from MJV. You know, he always comes with the great animations. It wasn't really anything. I think he tried his best to give us a scary experience with the animations, but as far as the story goes, it's just, they were all similar. They were all the same. Like, it didn't really give me any fright. I was more or less kind of like aggravated of how stupid some of them students were. You mean to tell me you left the classroom because you didn't think it was a real drill, but in your mind you know it's a real drill because instead of them saying lockdown 3 times, they said it 4 times, which lets you know that it was a real drill. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like the decisions that some of these students made. You mean to tell me you coming up from behind the desk that your entire class is hiding behind to look out the window, guy breaks down the door, you duck back in hopes that he doesn't see you? Come on, bro. Let's be realistic. These were not terrible. The animations were perfect. I love it. Thank you for trying your best. MJV, thank you for trying your best to give us a good experience with these animations. But these stories, whoever came up with these stories, man, y'all, look, it ain't it. It ain't it. I'm just being honest. The shit ain't it. So I'm going to rate the stories rather than the animations. I mean, the animations, they get 10 out of 10, but the stories, 6 out of 10 just wasn't good at all, pretty much. But like I said, it was still suspenseful in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So 6 out of 10. Shout out to MJV Animations for trying your best to, give us a good experience. Shout out to you. If you guys want to watch this video for yourself, man, the link to the original video is down in the description. Also, the link to MJV's Animations channel is down in the description as well. So make sure you go ahead over there and subscribe. If you guys enjoyed this video, man, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing it with your friends. It really does help this channel grow. If you guys want to be notified when I upload, man, click that bell. It goes a ring-a-ding-ding every single time that I upload, so you won't miss a thing. I promise you that. All of my social medias are here. It's been your boy Wolf TV. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. Peace.